Hello, everybody. Welcome to StraightA. Dawson here.
And Ben, the
You know,
only loyal member.
what'd you say?
The only loyal member.
Honest to God, at this point, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of these folks because, apparently we're just going to be trading them off every week. And now Ben's like, yo, let's actually get this recording going. I'm like, you know what, let's do it. You know what, Ben, I haven't had a one-on-one with you yet in this videos, I don't believe. So now we're running
Yeah,
it.
I like the idea of one on ones. I like the idea.
No, it's valid. It's valid. Maybe we need to do more of this stuff. I don't know. Kind of come up with some video ideas and make it more one on one. Beside the point. Either way, we are here with Week 10 predictions. It is this time of the season where we're kind of getting to the weird parts of some upsets are happening, but teams are getting in their groove a little bit. We're at the halfway point, so teams are finding their foundation. So we're gonna see what teams are real and what teams aren't. And after last week, maybe a couple of those teams are actually kind of getting exposed a little bit. Who knows? I'm not one to tattletale or anything, but beside the point. On screen now, I'm not too sure who's going to send me the predictions because Braden or Taylor kind of swapped back and forth whether they're going to send me the predictions or not. But here on screen now is going to be Ryan's picks. So there you go. Ryan has all of his picks on screen. Then right here now, Trayton will have all of his picks on screen. If you want to pause and look at them, go ahead. If you don't care, then move on. And then Braden will be right here along with Taylor. I'll put him in a split screen if they're both here, but probably just Braden if I had to guess since he already sent his in. But also importantly, we have a leaderboard. So on the screen now, we have the 2023 NFL season prediction leaderboard. Still in first place, been in first place the whole time. Kevin Walsh, 88 and 48. But for the first time ever, at least in a very long time, somebody's one win behind him, and that's the betting line. The betting line went 12 for 2 last week at 87 and 49 total wins loss ratio, which is pretty dang good. And no one can beat Vegas, is what we're really learning here. In a distant third place, but still respectable, Tom Grossi and Wyatt's World, 84 and 52. And right behind them are the next four of us guys. Trayton at fifth place with 83 and 53. Me in sixth place with 82 and 54. And Ben and Chu are currently tied at seventh place with 81 and 55. And TPS, of course, still rounding out the bottom at 73 and 63, having a distant last place finish so far. So it's kind of getting interesting because between the four of us, we are now all within 2 wins of each other halfway through the season. So Trayton lost his lead. Shu and Ben are no longer comfortably in last place anymore. It's just we're all kind of finding our groove at this point. So we're going to see how this week changes things up. There's actually a couple little trick games that could happen here this week. Just like last week, I definitely just took a step back last week. But yeah, Ben, what are your thoughts here? You want, since you're the only one here, what are your thoughts about all this so far?
It's a slow climb. It's a slow climb. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. Come on now. Me and Ryan won't be tied for long. I'll make sure to fix that up this week.
Yeah, come on,
Looking
join.
at you next.
Yeah, coming after my ass. Well, that's fair enough. But you know what? We have some predictions to make, Ben. And first of all, of course, is the best game of the week. Game of the week right here, Thursday night, the best primetime game that the NFL could ever script. The Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young are taking on the Bears and whatever that baguette guy is in the Bear over there in the Bears. I think this is pretty easily for me. I know the Bears are favored here, but I don't like their chances at all. The Panthers have always looked consistently good for the most part. Last week was pretty rough for them, to be honest with you. Took definitely a step back from Bryce Young's really good game against the Texans. But I think they've always been really consistently good, both on offense and maybe slightly less on defense. But they have a very promising team. I think they're going to stick it out and get their second win of the season here.
Yeah, I think I agree for sure. You know, I've been looking for a time to predict the Panthers. I'm a huge Bryce fan of Bryce Young, big Bama fan here. I've been looking for a good time to pick them, and I think now's a great time. Badgett had a really rough game last week, and I think the Panthers are going to be looking to get back. So I think that is the way I'm going to go is the Panthers. Looking to a little bit more of a higher quality game in the Patriots and Colts. The Patriots just have looked really sluggish the past 3 to 4 weeks. Their defense just doesn't seem like they can really stop a nosebleed, and their offense doesn't seem like they can really start one on another defense. I think Minshew Mania and the Colts are probably going to be able to take it, just simply just outgaining them, outplaying them. It's a really bad look for the Patriots right now. I don't see how you could really expect them to win against anybody hardly.
No, I have to agree with you here, Ben. I would love to disagree with you here soon to get some conversation going, but you kind of hit on the nail in the head. I said it last week in the Patriots game. It feels so weird predicting against the Patriots because seeing a 2-8 record does not feel like the Patriots that we've known because they've never been. I think 7-10 has been their most recent, or 7-9 or whatever is their most recent bad record, and so this feels just very weird and it doesn't feel right. But I mean, looking at everything going the way it is, the Colts just have a better roster overall. Sure, Minshew is a step down from Anthony Richardson, at least in terms of long term and honestly, kind of even short term gains. But the Colts are still promising. They're still going to get in that weird 8-9 ratio win, I'm sure, by the end of the season. So I'm going to give it to the Colts, even going into New England. But again, Bill Belichick's weird. I feel like he can randomly win one of these games. I feel like he's going to win like 2 or 3 more of these games before the season's over. And so it could turn into a Patriots win here, but I'm going to lean Colts in this case. Moving into a very divisional matchup, the Cleveland Browns are going to Baltimore to face off against the Ravens. And this is a very interesting matchup for me because I'm a big Browns guy. I love the Browns' defense and how they've looked this season. They've really stepped it up. And their offense, even without Deshaun Watson there, of course, Deshaun Watson came back last week, did about as well as what we expect from seeing him earlier in the season. But the Ravens have been on a whole nother level. They've kind of taken over that kind of spot for me, almost like the 49ers were in the beginning of the season. They're just going out and playing. And, like, they're not being flashy as much as they used to be. You know, Lamar Jackson has flashy games every now and then, but, like, the defense performs good. They finally are getting a run game kind of going with their committee now. They got, like, 3 running backs that are just swapping back and forth and being good or not. Lamar Jackson's, you know, at least doing, you know, not turning the ball over a whole ton, which is probably more beneficial than him, you know, constantly going out there and being either really great or really bad. But I got to give it to the Ravens. I really can't doubt the Ravens. Divisional matchup, so it's always going to be a little bit more tough, but I just cannot doubt the Ravens with the role they're on currently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to agree again. The Ravens just look like the hottest team in the AFC currently, and I think they're actually the 1 seed, so it's probably not much of a shocker for me to say that. I mean, they sit at 7-2, and rightfully so. They've looked really good on offense. That connection between Lamar and Andrews has really been going off, and like you said, add on to that, the trio of running backs has really done well, especially in the absence of J.K. Dobbins. Gus Edwards has done a really great job. Keaton has done a great job. Just look like they really know what they're doing on offense. And John Harbaugh still has his infamous defense going on. I mean, they are just tough. They've come back from injuries. This team, I don't see a situation right now where they lose to hardly anybody currently. Um, Another one that doesn't make me quite as comfortable to pick. I guess I'm gonna have to. As much as I don't, as much as I've rode the Texans train this entire season, I'm gonna have to go against them this week. I can't see them pulling this one out. The Bengals might be one of the 2 to 3 teams that I could see Baltimore losing against right now. The Texans, I can't see them doing it. You know, they're kind of that 8th or 9th place in the AFC. You know, great team to play as far as below them, teams above them. They just don't quite have it yet. C.J. Stroud has been great. I don't think he can quite keep up with the Bengals offense, and I think that that's what it would turn out to be, is a little bit of a track meet, but ends up in a blowout because that Bengals defense is probably going to be able to get some stops.
Well, Ben, make that 4 in a row because I'm going to agree with you here. As much as I would love to pick the Texans as the upset here, Cincinnati's been on a roll ever since Joe Burrow's been fully healthy and fully back. It's been an unstoppable offense. The defense has been stepping up at least to do a suitable number, and honestly, kind of exceeded my expectations to a number at least. But yeah, the Bengals pretty easily here for this game. Not going to say too much about that. A little bit more of an interesting game though, because I think one team's trending down and one team's trending up right now. The 49ers at the Jaguars, and man, the 49ers lost the last 3 games in a row, man. I want to pick the Jaguars so badly here because it's in Jacksonville. The Jaguars have looked good. But the 49ers have to do something soon. Right? It has to be their week again eventually. They can't be a team that loses 4, 5, 6 in a row. And their games only get tougher. They have not necessarily the most easy division in the whole NFL, and they don't have the easiest lineup later in the season anyway. And Jaguars, I think, are a contention team. But when the 49ers get rolling, I feel really a lot better about the 49ers' chances against a more consistently grounded team in Jacksonville. As good as I think Jacksonville's going to do in this game, I feel like maybe the defense of the 49ers will kind of eke them out, and hopefully the offense of the 49ers kind of get things rolling once again. I don't know. So I'm going to go 49ers here. I don't feel totally confident in it. I definitely don't think it's a +3 advantage, or sorry, a -3 advantage to San Francisco, to be honest with you. I think it's a lot closer than that, but maybe Vegas knows something. I'm going 49ers here.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like the way you put it. Get the ball rolling a little bit. They kind of went on that three-game skid, but I'm kind of in the same boat. I think they went into the bye and got some things straightened out and regrouped a little bit. And San Fran's probably just going to be able to simply overpower Jacksonville here. That one's a little bit more straightforward. Moving on to the what I think is probably the toughest game to predict would be the Saints and the Vikings. Really nasty game here. Not really sure what to expect. You would think might be a shoe-in pick for the Vikings, especially if Dobbs plays the way he did last weekend. I don't know how accurate of an assessment that could be, though, because he has two career wins to his name. I'm not just on this hype train yet. Though, I'm not exactly on the Saints hype train. I don't think that their defense is really good, especially against those slot receivers. It seems really poor whenever they open up the middle of the field. And at times, Derek Carr and that offense just seem like they cannot get it together, and it's definitely not coming from any help from Pete Carmichael at OC. Give me the Vikings here in a really close defensive matchup. I think Dobbs is able to will him to another win.
Ben, I can't, yeah, I really, I gotta agree with you. I think I like the Vikings roster around Dobbs, and that's the main reason why I think the Vikings eke out an advantage here. I think Dobbs is really suitable. I don't think he's anything flashy. He's definitely no Kirk Cousins. He's definitely a couple tiers below Kirk Cousins, in fact. But it seems like at least the Vikings locker room is rallying behind him, and I like seeing that. At least the team is not just like rolling with a new quarterback and not just being getting buying into it. Dobbs came in, and I think winning that first game he came in really hurt. Like it really helps morale. And I think anything that could have hurted his momentum is kind of helping him more roll with it. And the Saints are a very beatable team. I like the Saints. I like the Saints roster. I just don't know about their offense. Their offense always gets me because I don't know what to feel about Derek Carr. It seems like one week he's doing really good. He's putting up great numbers. Next week he'll put up good numbers, but actually kind of suck when you actually watch him on the field. It's just very wishy-washy, and I don't feel confident, especially with them going into Minnesota. I feel much more confident in the Minnesota victory. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings as well, Ben. So, we're really rolling here with the agreeances. And I don't know if it's really going to stop because the Green Bay Packers are going to Pittsburgh, and I'm just going to see. This feels like a trap game for the Steelers, but I think it's going to be the Steelers easily. The defense are going to overwhelm Jordan Love, and I just don't see Love really getting anything really going anymore, at least not for the foreseeable future when they play good teams. The Steelers have looked a lot better, and I think people give them credit for. I think they're kind of, because they're third in their division, basically, with with Ravens and Bengals right above them, they kind of are almost a sleeper team that people are not necessarily ignoring, but forgetting about. And they're kind of slowly putting together a decent offense. And I talked trash about him to the Ben before this, but Deontay Johnson is going to be a very good, valuable addition back to the offense and give Kenny Pickett another target to. And it's only going to get better from there. They're 5-3. I think they're going to extend it to 6-3.
Yeah, I think I agree. It just seems like it's the Mike Tomlin way. Even whenever his teams look the absolute worst in the entire NFL, somehow manages to get out above 500 and just these wins happen one way or another, just limiting turnovers, making good plays on defense, limiting penalties. It doesn't matter if he gets outgained. He's going to find a way to win that game. He's probably going to do it again this week. That defense, the pass defense is not great, and that's where Jordan Love excels. So I expect this to be a little bit of a higher scoring game. We take the over on this game, but I think the Steelers are going to pull it out. Another game that is just not something that is easy for me to pick. Titans Bucks. I'm going to go with the Titans here, and that is probably it's because the Titans have done this. They've done it before. They did it back in 2019. They had a terrible start to the season. They start the backup, and they went on a huge roll. I think that could be what happens here. I will say, however, if they lose this game, I expect them to win no more than 2 games rest of season.
Interesting. Yeah, this one actually. You know how you said the Vikings Saints one was your hardest one. I think this is my hardest one, the Titans Bucks, just because I really like the Bucks, but also I'll be honest, Will Levis kind of got me hyped up. Him and CJ Stroud with their really good games kind of got me hyped up to see them because I like seeing rookie quarterbacks doing well. Go figure. I like seeing new blood out there and actually overperforming. It's kind of a good story of Will Levis coming in and taking the starting job. At least for the foreseeable future. So I really want to root behind Tennessee here, and I'm not. Against my better judgment, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers, just because I'm a sucker for pain, and Baker Mayfield's my deliverer. Uh, it's not a crazy pick because this is a very close matchup for me. Right here on the Pick'em leagues, it has like what's called even odds. Technically the Bucks do have a minus 1.5, I believe. Yeah, and it's in Tampa Bay. The Titans again. I kind of see them kind of not bottoming out their division necessarily, but like I don't see them doing too well because they also have some trickier games going forward, and this is kind of one of them where they can lose to a mediocre team. I do like the Titans though, so I kind of wish Will Levis good luck on this game, but I am going to go with the Buccaneers as my advantage here. Meanwhile, we'll go to a game that has way too close of odds for my liking. The Atlanta Falcons going to Arizona and taking on the Cardinals. I'm going to check what's called the Sportsbook FanDuel as well to check if that minus 1.5 for the Falcons is true because that feels way too close. Which it's on FanDuel as well. So, am I missing something, Ben? Like before I even say anything, am I missing something obvious that the Falcons have just, you know, done lately? If they just look that bad at on offense, I don't really watch many of their games. I see some of the highlights and they look very inconsistent.
Falcons have done, but someone is coming back for the Cardinals.
Oh my fucking god, that's right. Kyler Murray might be coming back. Holy shit, I forgot about that.
He is back this week.
He's back, guaranteed. Oh, I'm picking the Falcons. I mean, Kyler's been out for so long, man. Like, I get the hype around him, and trust me, I think he's hopefully he's a good QB. I like Kyler from that time. I think he got trashed on a lot, but also the Cardinals, offense and defense all around just do not have the star power to help maintain his talent level if it's there. At least with the Browns, with Deshaun Watson coming back, Deshaun Watson had talent around him and talent on defense. Cardinals don't have that. And the Falcons may not be the best team in the whole league, but their defense is tough, their secondary especially, it's kind of honestly been playing down now I think about it the last couple of weeks. They haven't been playing all too well. And their offense isn't the greatest thing in the world either, so I'm kind of talking myself out of it. But again, quarterback coming back is never really, especially from a long-term injury, they's never performed too well. So I'm going to go with the Falcons here.
Yeah, I'm probably going to agree. Kind of am seeing this as just maybe a precursor to the rest of the season. Maybe that's probably not the right word. I think Arizona will probably end up doing better, but I think this game is just kind of slow for them. I'm kind of expecting Kyler to be a little rusty. James Conner is going to be back and he'll get the start. He's probably going to get eased in really slow. That really leaves you with the hope that Kyler does really well. And I mean, they're going up against a really good defense. I don't think that their defense is going to be able to really stop Atlanta's rush attack that well. I'm going to take the Falcons here. But have this matchup 2 to 3 weeks from now, I'm probably not taking the Falcons.
I'd agree with that one.
Up to another good little matchup here. We've got the Lions and Chargers, really offensive powerhouse matchup here. I'm going with the Lions. It just doesn't seem like Brandon Staley can actually win a game whenever he's matched up with someone to his own team's level. Maybe not even his own team's level. In the top half of the NFL, he just never seems to do well. He cannot coach. I just have lost hope of the Chargers. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, it's I gotta ask myself the question. I don't doubt myself about the Lions anymore. The Lions are a top tier team at this point in terms of contention. They are looking good, obviously, and they're coming off a bye week now too, so they're kind of rested up. And I feel like that the way that team is, the culture there, and the way they kind of put their mindset, they're not rusty. I feel like for some reason, for me, bye weeks stick in my head more as a long-term benefit than a short-term benefit for teams. And I could be statistically wrong. I really may be. But I have that stigma in my head where I feel like a team comes back and they might be a little rusty, especially if they're going away. And I don't feel like that for the Lions at all. For some reason, their team just feels cohesive enough where they're just going to come back and get rolling once again. The Chargers, especially with a team that can easily drop plenty of points. They can put up plenty of points, but they can also drop a ton of points too. I'm gonna take the Lions as well. I love Dan Campbell. I think he really should win Coach of the Year. Like at least the halfway point, he should deserve Coach of the Year with the way he's put that locker room together and make them as good as they are. But yeah, I'm taking the Lions. Going to a game that, man, the spread is the highest I think I've ever seen it. New York Giants going to Dallas, and guys, I did make a statement that the Giants were going to win, go above 6-11. I'll tell you this right now, I'm doing that losers bet at the end of the season because I don't believe in the Giants anymore. They may accidentally fall into it, but like at this point, I just don't see it. They really let me down. They've really let me down, and the Cowboys are going to prove that. The Cowboys, I think, have gotten crapped on by bad teams before, and I don't think they're going to get crapped on this week. I just feel Dallas has found, their offense has found their way now. Feels like they've found their groove, and their defense is still at least just as good as it was in the beginning of the season. Maybe it's not as aggressive in terms of how many sacks and all that they're putting up. But the Cowboys are easily going to take this and go extend their lead to 6-3, or extend their record to 6-3.
Yeah, that might be the biggest spread I've ever seen. Yes, we'll probably still pick the Giants.
Dang, throwing some shade at TPS.
I can't say much good about the Giants now. It's ew.
Daniel Jones is out.
Taylor and Misfits, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Cowboys. Pretty easy pick. Another game that's pretty good is the Seahawks versus Commanders. See, I have a little bit more trouble picking this game. I don't think the spread is quite reliable. I feel like it's a little misleading here. I feel like Washington could cover that pretty easily. At the same time, though, it's going to be a long trip for Washington over there. Seattle is probably going to get back in the groove. I'm going to take Seattle. This just seems like a get-right game for Pete Carroll. They had a tough game last week on a long trip to Baltimore. It's time to give the same medicine over to Washington.
Actually, while I'm kind of speaking about this, I'm actually going to look up the last few games of the Commanders because I don't even think about the Commanders the way I should anymore because they've burnt me too many times. I've gotten random win from them because I just chose them on a good week. I'm looking. They won against the Patriots last week. They lost against the Eagles the week before. They lost to the Giants the week before that. They won against the Falcons before that. They lost to the Bears before that. This just feels like, what do you take from this? What do you take from them losing to one of the worst teams in the Bears, beating the Falcons, which is a mid-level team, losing against another one of the worst teams in the NFL, and the Giants, competing with the Eagles, and then proceeding to beat the Patriots, who are kind of one of the worst teams, whatever. But I just don't know what to take from this. And they competed with the Eagles twice now, so I don't even know what to take from it. I'm picking the Seahawks because I think the Seahawks are going to get back in the groove of things. Geno is Geno had a really great year last year. Really fabulous year, comeback player of the year type year, and this year it's just been more, it's just not, I think people got a little hyped over it because they saw Geno do so good, and now he's just kind of more, either the hype around him's gone or the stats are just not there anymore. It just feels weird. The receiving core also feels, a little bit weaker. I think Tyler Lockett and DK have put down less stats at the midway point than they did last year. And that's kind of unfortunate. I do think the Seahawks are going to win this, and I think they're going to continue to do pretty well. But the Commanders, I just don't even think of them the way I should. I just think of them do I feel like this is a week they could just randomly win? Yeah, no. So I'm going Seahawks here.
I think it's just inconsistent QB play, really. That defense has been pretty consistent in how it plays. The offense is what's not consistent, and it really comes down to Sam Howell. Is he going to put down 350 to 400 yards, or is he going to throw 350 to 400 picks? You tell me.
No, that's a good question. We do have another game, though, actually really interesting game. The New York Jets at the Las Vegas Raiders. There's a lot to take. You can take from this. Wait, is this supposed to be yours or is it supposed to be mine?
No, I think you got it.
Okay, it's mine. Okay, I just got lost in my trail there. New York Jets at the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm picking the Jets. Just simple to the point. I'm picking the Jets. I like Zach Wilson enough. I'm kind of getting behind him a little bit in his story. And I'm liking the Jets defense a lot. They're stepping up to the plate against, especially not very good Las Vegas Raiders offense right now. Aiden O'Connell, I don't think is really anything for that. Josh Jacobs is wishy-washy at best. The defense is just unreliable, except for Max Crosby. The Jets, I guess you can say that about their offense too, but I feel like there's a better cast around them. I feel like there's a lot of hope in New York right now. I think the Jets are doing really well and going on kind of a almost like a New York Giants kind of streak last year. Almost, it almost feels like they're kind of getting some wins they probably didn't think they. A lot of people thought they couldn't, and I think they're kind of getting the fan base behind them. So I don't know. I'm gonna go New York Jets. I don't really care for this game too much. It's a primetime game, by the way. So really good NFL. You're doing a great job. I'm eager to watch all these games. But yeah, I'm going Jets here.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do the same, just because it just seems like it's a really tough defensive matchup, and Jets have the better of the two. Um, Josh Jacobs can form a really good run game at times, but the Jets' run D is really good. I don't expect the Raiders to run all over them. I don't expect Aiden O'Connell to attack the secondary very well. I would just say the Jets are probably a safe bet. Another safe bet is probably the Bills. I'm sorry. I know that we're looking for a good Broncos win at some point, but I don't think it's this week. I think the Bills are probably going to get right. Sean McDermott's going to whip them back into order, and Josh Allen will finally do 2022 Josh Allen things and not 2023 where he throws a pick and only runs for a touchdown, and that's the summary of the game. And no, it'll be better. It'll be better this time. Bills are going to win. Book it.
I would really, if the Bills didn't just lose last week, I'd actually probably consider picking the Broncos here. Mostly because I'm just telling myself all the things a fan should tell himself when they get hope in their team right now. Because the Broncos, won against Chiefs, they are now on bye. They're feeling pretty good about themselves. I do think they walk into Buffalo and take a pretty fat L. I do think it's not. I think it's gonna be like a 10-point game. I think it's gonna be respectable enough, but like the Bills are still gonna kick some ass type deal. And that's at least what I'm hoping for. The Broncos have looked more promising in actually weeks before their bye, but the Bills are just I think they're inconsistent, yes, and I think they play well against almost any team. They really haven't had a blowout loss yet, have they? I'm trying to think of their games.
No, I don't believe so.
So they always compete, and even if they play down to their opponents, they at least play decently well. I do think that spread's a little aggressive. You can ease up on my Broncos, okay? Plus 7 or minus 7.5 is a little aggressive. You can give us like 6. Come on. But yeah, I do think that I agree with you. The Bills are going to take the win here. I'm very curious though, because man, seeing the Bills at 5-4 at the midseason point does not feel good. I don't know. It feels kind of bad. I know they haven't had their bye week yet. They got that in week 13, I believe, which is good for the long term. I think a later bye week helps their team recover for the playoffs better. But that's if they make the playoffs at this point. I'm starting to get that. Like the Jets are right behind them. They have one win over them. I don't think they've played. They play a second time, I believe, next week or something. So I kind of get worried. What do you think about the Bills right now, Ben?
I think it's definitely a time to be worried about them. They've been on a really rough skid, and they really seem to lose against bad teams. I saw a lot of people take the Bills this past week because they can at least show up in primetime games. Take them personally because of how hot the Bengals were, not necessarily because of the Bills. Even then, they just did not look that good. Something is just not working in that locker room. The connections aren't there. I think it is a get right week, but the Jets might actually win this division. Bills have to beat them next week because of the fact that Jets will hold tiebreaker if they don't. Jets will hold the tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the Dolphins. I know. I mean, Dolphins have an easier schedule. They only have like one or two other hard teams to face, but they've shown they're going to probably lose those, which actually is funny. I forgot the Dolphins are on a bye week this week, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
I wish Tratham was here because, man, I think after that Chiefs game, it just proved to me, like, the Dolphins might be all talk, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of falling in that category.
They are. I think they are.
Granted, it was a Germany game, so there's a little bit of reservation there. But, man, I just don't know. How can you get behind a team that's won against only pretty far into the under 500?
You say that it's just a Germany game, but they did arrive over there. I think it was 3 to 4 days before the Chiefs.
Oh, did not know that.
Dolphins got there on like Monday. I think the Chiefs got there on Thursday.
Gosh dang. Well, fair enough. I will say this: Mike McDaniel's and his interview clips over there are kind of funny. I'll be honest. I like Mike McDaniel's, so I hope the Dolphins do well enough because I think he's kind of like a Dan Campbell, almost opposite Dan Campbell in the way.
They're fun. They're a fun team. I just don't know.
Well, either way, that is our predictions for the week. We'll see how well everybody does. I feel like this is actually, when we kind of broke it down, once I started talking to Ben and how much we agree here, maybe it's a little bit more simple of a week than I thought it was. It looked like on paper a couple games could go different ways, but we'll see what Trace and all of them pick. You're going to be laughing about them. You're going to be laughing at us. Who knows? But leave your comments down below about who you would pick, and let us know who you think has the craziest takes, either on the people who sent their picks in, or me or Ben. Either way, enjoy the videos, guys. We have Madden 2003 Imperialism and Madden 2004 Imperialism will be out pretty soon here next week and a half or so, in the middle of recording all that. So please stick around, enjoy the videos, leave a comment down below, leave a like and subscribe. StraightA Dawson, out.